Shalom my friends, and welcome to me kvetching about War of the Roses, where I'll be discussing things I like, things I don't like, and possible ways that it could be changed to improve upon them. Now remember, these are strictly my opinions, and I'm an idiot, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Now, War of the Roses is a third-person medieval combat game developed by Fat Shark and published by Paradox Interactive. Now, as you might know, Paradox Interactive also released the Mount & Blade series, and this does have some similarities to it, but as you might have guessed, it's not entirely like it. Let me talk about some of the things I definitely enjoy about this game. First things first is, what this game does that a lot of games currently do not is, well, okay, a lot of multiplayer games include customization, but this game includes a very deep detail when it comes to the customizations over here in the profile editor. Let me select. These are the classes I currently have. You start as a footman. This is a nice basic class that after you win one match, you'll probably unlock all four of them, so there's no need to worry about variety. These all stand up to actual combat, but after a couple of levels, you get the ability to unlock four more. These are what I currently have. I have my archer that I use more, since he uses armor-piercing arrows to hunt down armored guys, which is almost everyone you'll ever bloody encounter in this game. And one thing I like is the weaponry customization. Let me show you real quick. I'll choose the pointy stick. I like this guy just because he's using a pointy stick. The name amuses me, what can I say? When I'm talking about weapon customization, you get three weapons. A main weapon, a sidearm, which is usually a one-handed weapon of some kind, and a dagger. The main reason they give you the option to change your dagger is because of this. You can even get an actual pointy stick. Unfortunately, you need to be rank 6 to actually get it. And it's actually better than the dagger they give you. I'm not certain why, but hey, I'll leave that to the Fat Shark guys. But anyway, I was talking about weapon customization. Let's look here. I am currently using a spear. The boar spear is what I currently have. You can change the type of fighting style that you actually use, common, imperial, and Milanese. I'm just going to choose what I already have. You can actually change what type of metal the head of your weapon is made out of, and even the grind of the edge, as this guy, and even what the shaft is made out of. Now, unfortunately, I'm somewhat disappointed that the fighting style doesn't change how you swing your weapon, and I haven't noticed any changes to the structure itself by going by the other choices. And you can apply that to just about every other weapon as well, such as, my little sword here, which I rarely ever use. And that's what I'm talking about when you can actually change the weaponry customization. Every weapon has something similar to that. Like, for example, I'll head back to my armored archer here. I'm currently using a war bow. You can change what type of arrows you like to use, such as I'll just choose barbed, equip that, footed shafts, and every weapon has a little bit of customization all along to it, and I really like that. You can change your armor somewhat. Let's head back to the pointy stick. Helmet's the least of all because you only get these select few, and you can't do a whole lot with them, such as my favorite helmet here. And you can even have your crest. Mine's a cow for some odd reason. I just like the fact that I can have a cow on my head. And about the armor, unfortunately, these aren't really customizable, except in color, as you can see here. And they only have a couple brands. I'm not entirely happy that you have only one set of armor that you can actually use. I don't really like that. I have heard that they do intend to add more in the future, but as of right now, that's all we have. I'm somewhat disappointed, but it's not that bad, I guess, because you can at least change the colors, but having only 3 suits, not that impressive. Now, while I'm here in the customization screen, I do like how their perk system works. The perk system, as you can see, you first select one major perk. Let's jump in here real quick. You have 5 different categories, offensive, defensive, and you can read them on the screen. Go offensive. First, you choose how you want your guy to be, an archer or someone who focuses more on melee. I'll go the melee route. As you can see, you unlock the second perks, or I guess you can call these sub-perks, that you put in here that you choose exactly how you want this guy to actually perform. Such as Highwayman, or if I like this guy more as a anti-armor guy for close range, so I'd give him Shield Breaker and Break Block so they can't really defend against me. Then you can choose defensive, which is whether you want them to run around with a shield or just run around better with armor. Supportive is, as you expect, it either helps you with control points or it actually helps you with healing, because there is no really regenerating health without a specific officer perk. Oops, I need to put my perks back in. There we go. Without a specific officer perk, and you have to bandage. So I personally see no reason to ever use the Watchman, because points capture real quickly anyway. And the healing buffs have helped me more than any. Then you get to choose whether you want to be a footman or a cavalry. I personally have not really messed around with cavalry, as you can see here, but I'll have to create some at some point to get a feel of it. But recently, cavalry's been incredibly nerfed lately, so that's why you hardly ever see them on the battlefield. And last thing when it comes to customizations that I really like is the coat of arms. This is my coat of arms. I am a duck. You can change things such as, well, actually that doesn't really count because I only have white. Let me add some color here. That's ugly, but you can change how you want the background to look. You can change all the little designs in the background if you so desire. A purple duck, that's an interesting look. And you can add so many things. Eventually, they even allow you to choose, let's see if I can find it. There is a honey badger. There we go. You can also get the royal honey badger as a crest. That's because, let's face it, honey badger don't care, but I prefer my cow. Where's my... Yes, there we go. There's my battle bovine. I really love the amount of detail that you can put into it to customize your character, both in what weaponry you want, so you can make your guy the way you want him, as well as how you want him to look within reason. One thing, next let me jump into a training match real quick. I'm going to show you some other things I like, so I can show you some things I enjoy, but not mess up anyone's game. Let me just, I believe this is the one that'll let me test out the archery. Let's see here. Yep, this is the archery. One thing I will say, this game, the archery is very, very satisfying because the hit detection is actually quite superb in this game. As well as when you use a crossbow, you have this interesting reload mechanic that you can use to reload quicker than normal. You can let it just go, but eventually it takes so long to do so, so it's better to just use that little quick reload. And this, as I'm saying, this archery is very, very satisfying, as everything has weight and drop to it. And for when you're fighting, say, enemies in heavy armor, since they are completely covered in plate, you can do something so much as hit them within the visor to kill them in one shot if they put down their visor, which they do have the ability. I am using a hat, so I unfortunately do not. But let me show you something real quick. By just using the... Oopsie. Yes, you can fall off and die like I did right there, and that's what happens if you miss the active reload with the crossbow. So, now you know, I totally did not do that on purpose. Right, and as you can see, the AI is quite sad, but this is a multiplayer only game, and the AI is only here during these tutorial sections. Let me show you what I mean by the hit detection. By heading on over here, the guys in red are the enemies. I'm gonna right click to aim, hold down shift to hold my breath, and there we go. Here we have a heavily armored guy. I'm gonna run up. Ow! What the hell? Oi. Oh, okay, you go away. There. Fortunately, there's no damage numbers in single player, so you can't see how much damage you've actually done to him. But suffice to say, if I hit him in the face with a crossbow or armor-piercing rounds, armor-piercer bolts or arrows, typically is a one-shot kill if you hit someone in the face. And again, the heavier armor they have, you have to hit them in specific places, or if you have this weapon, for example, let me just hit this guy. That went right through him. I guess I'm fighting ghosts. Depending where I stab these guys, depends how much damage I actually end up doing. Since they do not have heavy armor on, they take more damage in their head. Normally they do not do that, but as I said, this is just AI. They're allowed to do that. And one thing with the... Oh, and looks like the crossbow kept my bolt. Let's take care of this guy. Hi, how you doing? With a nice little twang effect to let you know that you got a nice headshot. So hit detection is great in this game because, as I said, depending where you hit the guys, depends how much damage you actually deal. I do not know if that actually hit him or not. Let me try that again here. There we go, another headshot. So hit detection is great because when enemies wear heavy armor, typically you can't really hit them in the head as that has the most armor. But if you hit them in the visor, you typically get a one-shot, one-kill. I will say, I enjoy this third-person perspective that we have going on here. It gives you a nice little view of the battlefield, nice little view of everything that's currently going on, without really... God dang it. Unfortunately, the AI, while being dumb as a brick, is a dead shot. The ammo, I will say one thing, the ammo is auto-regenerating. I don't really know how I feel about that, but it does give archers some use, since otherwise, well, right, you never run out of arm power, but you do, of course, run out of arrows and ammunition. Push forward, I don't wanna. Oh boy. And, well, yeah, the third-person perspective makes some things a little bit harder to aim. I do like that at least... Oh, right. Well, he has a helmet on. Let me hit him in the head. Stop hitting me! See that little glancing thing? That means I did not actually manage to do much damage to him because it glanced off his metal helmet. That's what I mean when I'm talking about I like the hit detection. Because if I stabbed him in the head, that would have killed him. But... just trying to take a swing at a metal cap does not do too much in terms of damage, unless I was using a blunt weapon, which, as you saw me using the sword, is not a blunt weapon. And while I'm talking about the perspective, I also will say I like how this game actually looks. The texture quality, as you can see here, is actually really decent compared to a lot of games, in my opinion. I'd like to get a better look at the texture for the characters, but unfortunately, oh goodness, that would not have turned out well. But unfortunately, I can't really get a good look at any of these guys without them trying to kill me. Headshot or stab. Luckily, if this was a bunch of people fighting me, I'd be pretty much dead right now. And there, again, as you saw right there, he has that helmet on, so I was unable to actually do much damage there. Which brings me to another thing. The sound effects in this game are phenomenal. From the little twang you were hearing of me deflecting off his armor, to the thud of the bolts, let's see if I can... to that little sound effect when you get a headshot. It's missing the multiplayer sound, though, where you get a nice announcer go, "Headshot," whenever you land that. But I'll show you that in a sec. I can't promise I'll get a headshot on anyone, but I should hopefully be able to at least let you hear that sound. And, well, that's a lot of what I really like about this game. Now I'm going to jump into a multiplayer match real quickly to show what I do not really like about this game. Let me leave the tutorial section here and show you. So, let me choose this real quick here. Let's see, as you can see here, let me change the game modes real quick. They unfortunately have two. Oh, that's new. Huh, when they had that? No matter, okay. Let me get rid of my filters, and there doesn't appear to be any. Okay, so, as I was saying, there's only two real game modes, which is Team Deathmatch and Conquest. Team Deathmatch is, as you can expect, just a Zerg Fest. Conquest is a capture the point. And without filters, we only have 200 servers or so. We put the filters on, and this drops dramatically to about 30. So, and I think I know why. One of the other reasons, aside from 2 game modes, is let's count the maps. We have 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got about 7 maps total. So 2 game modes, 7 maps. That's not a huge selection at all right now for a $30 package. I'm not too impressed by that. Let me show you some of the things that I'm not entirely pleased with. What's a good map I can choose that I don't interrupt people with? This looks good. Let's see. One of the things I don't really like is the combat does not have a whole lot of oomph to it. Now, ranged combat does. I love the ranged combat, but melee combat, not so much. And let me spawn real quick and show you what I mean. See, what we got is, it's not very intuitive, nor is it intuitive. Let me just show you real quick. Clicky, 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 clicky. And we got nothing going on at all. Let me show you what you have to do to actually attack. You have to left click and move to the right. And that's how you swing to the right. Now right click, move to the right again, my bad. Right click, move to the left. Left click, sorry. Left click, move up. Left click, move down for a pierce. Those are the main combat motions. Guess it's just testing things out. And along with that, the stabbing motion appears to be the most useful out of them, because a stabbing motion will always go through armor, even when they're wielding heavy plate like what I have right now. What we're currently at is we're at a conquest mode, so let me just stand on the flag real quick. And while I don't mind the melee mechanics in and of themselves, but most fights devolve into strange poke fest, where everyone will just try and get as many stabs in as possible, because a lot of people wear heavy armor. And next is when you hold to the right mouse and move in a direction, as you saw there, you gain the ability to block in any direction, left, right, up, down. In and of itself, I don't mind. What I do mind, though, is, let me show, as I aim down, I'm blocking low. Any piercing attack, no matter where it comes from in that direction, will instantly be blocked. If you try and stab me in the face, I'm aiming down, can't hit me. The only way to get around that type of attack is you have to either hit them from the sides or from the back, or preferably with an arrow. That's the only real way to get around that. Shields have pretty much the same problem, except you can always at least stab them in the feet to get around that defense. And let's see, well, I will say that does kind of annoy us, because the fact that the melee lacks a whole lot of meat, a lot of fights don't feel that good, since the combat itself is floaty and everyone can take about 20-30 stabs in the face before they actually die. Well, okay, that's a little bit of a hyperbole. Everyone can take quite a lot of stabs before they actually go down. I don't really like that. I do like, as you saw there, you are able to put down your visor, which will help with getting hit in the face. But unfortunately, with the use of warhammers or stabby weapons, it doesn't do a whole lot of good. Let me jump to another match real quick to show you some of the other things that I am really not a huge fan of. Team Deathmatch sounds good. That way I can just show you some things while I kvetch here. Just gonna jump in real quick. And one of the things that I do not like is, let's spawn, is the prevalence of two-handed weapons. Not just two-handed weapons, but two-handed warhammers and two-handed swords at the moment are pretty much overpowered to the point of rendering everything else pretty much useless. And this has pretty much been confirmed by the developers on the forums itself. I mean, most fights, most Team Deathmatch and Conquest end up dropping completely into just everyone will just switch to one of those weapons and melee constantly, because it doesn't take a whole lot of skill to actually spam two-handed weaponry. Ow! What the? Luckily, we at least see some cavalry person, so I do enjoy that, but again, two-handed weapons unfortunately seem to be better than everything else at the moment, unless you're not very good like this guy here. And that makes a lot of fights quite uninteresting, because everyone just uses I'm actually kind of surprised that that a lot of these people seem to be using more than just one kind of weapon, so I'm actually somewhat impressed. But one of the other things I'm not a huge fan of is the squad spawn mechanic. Which is, no matter what you do, anyone, as long as you're in a squad, can spawn on you no matter where you are, and that's honestly seriously annoying. Because if you're doing really well in a fight, at any point his buddy can jump on you and immediately start to beat the hell out of you, turning a match that is easily in your favor into theirs. They can do that constantly, and it is a mechanic that breaks the realism extremely. Looks like my friends over here need some help. It looks like he's using a two-handed warhammer. Not only do you see how quickly he's swinging the bloody thing, but how many hits he's taking. And there's really absolutely nothing I can do in that sort of situation, since I do not actually have a shield, to stop him from being able to beat me and just about everyone else around him so easily. That is what I'm saying by the sheer prevalence of two-handed weaponry. And see, even full health, and he still managed to hit me straight through, no matter what. Actually, we have an archer here. Let me get back. Oh, come on, I should be able to hit you. No, stop running away. Stop running away. I'm gonna chase you. I am going to run your little butt down. Get back here. Or I can hit a wall and... Fine, I'll let you get away, jerk. And while we're looking here, that is another thing I don't really like. No matter how many stabs in the gut you take with a spear, you can easily be revived, no matter what. I'm really not a huge fan of that, nor, as I did right there, you can always heal how much damage you have by doing a quick bandage. Well, the one thing we can do, or you can do to fix the squad spawning is, rather than have them spawn directly on you, let me see, we have this little door here. Let's just say these doors are squad doors. If your squad leader is near, it will activate these little points, knock knock, and that will allow people to spawn in there. That way they can spawn nearby, but not necessarily directly on you or your teammate. That way there's still at least some... Get out of my way, tree. That way they can still spawn in to help, but they won't spawn directly on you or on the person you're fighting, so it doesn't turn every fight into an immediate, completely out of your favor. And one thing I'm saying with the... I'm well within the wooden handle but he's still managing to hit me regardless. That's one thing that seriously annoys me. I really hope they end up resolving. Let's see what else I'm not really a huge fan of. But one thing I don't like is there is no squad communication at all in this game. I mean, the only thing you can really do to communicate is to... let me save my friend here real quick. Get off of him. There. The only real way to communicate is by talking. And sod off, I'm trying to do something here. There's no real way to communicate with people except through chatting or by typing, and there's no real chance to do that when you're in a huge melee like that. So they could add a VoIP system to make communicating a little bit easier. I don't like that. The only way to stop someone from getting recovered is, aside from getting an instant kill from a headshot with an arrow, or hit someone in the face with a cavalry lance, is to get executed like you saw there. I do enjoy that because I have a helmet that blocks my view. It blocks it on screen. That is actually quite amusing in my book. I really want to know why the heck I'm hugging this guy and my warhammer isn't hitting him. That's something I'd like to know. Whatever. Of course, he can still hit me no matter what. That's typical. And that's really a lot of the things that I like in this game are cosmetic. I like, the customization, the look, the music, the sound of everything. And a lot of things I don't like are mechanical, like the weapon imbalance, the laggy hit detection at times, the imbalance, the squad spawning. A lot of the core things in this game just seriously need some work, while a lot of the aesthetics work perfectly fine. Looks like we're about to win, so that's a good thing, considering I contributed absolutely nothing here. But that's really about my thoughts. Is there are some good things about it. There are lots of... It's not very fun to play, in my opinion, but it is... at least looks good. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm not exactly great at this game that it annoys me, that a lot of the things that happen annoy me so much, and how a full sprint Warhammer did practically no damage at all, I'll never know. Meanwhile, he'll of course hit me once and cause me bleeding and then kill me. Oh look, I hit him in the face with the Warhammer and he still, was still doing just fine. So, yeah, I guess that really just about sums up my thoughts in this matter. I mean, there are some... Yeah, I mean, I want to recommend this game. I really, really do. It's different enough to be very interesting, but it doesn't actually accomplish everything I feel it should. I mean, it doesn't feel right, the combat doesn't feel good, and no matter how good looking it is, if it doesn't play well, then we got some problems. So let me just say, I spent $30 on this game. I've been playing it for roughly 15 hours, and I'm pretty far off from unlocking everything, but with what I have available to me, I'm not really certain that I really want to. I mean, I'm kind of bored with it, in all honesty. I mean, as they have promised new content, so hopefully shortly they'll have new gear, new maps, new game modes that'll add some interest to it. So I would personally say wait until that happens, whenever that will, before deciding one way or the other. I personally say wait until it goes on sale. I give it a cautionary recommendation because I do enjoy it in very small spurts before the imbalance of it makes me want to punch babies. So that being said, once they patch it, balance the two-handed weapons, maybe buff cavalry again, once that has happened, they've added a bit more content, I would recommend it a bit more. But for now, I would say just wait until it goes on sale, and then pick it up. You'll probably get a couple of hours out of it, like I did. And that pretty much concludes my thoughts, so thank you guys very much for watching. Shalom, and until next time.